Welcome to FootballGamePlan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook. Sitting next to the man, Tyler Mergovich, who's the fantasy football guru here at Football Game Plan, bringing you his top wide receiver values, sleepers, and bust picks. So let's jump right into this value wide receiver. I'm expecting to see some guys like, I don't know, maybe what, Eric Barton? I don't know.
Well, before we get to that, like I said before in my running back value, sleepers, and bust picks, rate these guys, take all the players and I would like him as my second receiver. I would like him as my third receiver, fourth receiver, fifth receiver. Tier them up. Don't get too greedy, of course, but let's start with the value. I think it's Hakeem Nicks, late fifth round to early sixth. You could grab this guy coming into his second year. Gigantic commits. He's a red zone threat for Eli Manning. I don't think Boss does it. I don't think Steve Smith does it. Of course, Jacobs might do it, but health issues there. And he might not be the same player, so I think Nicks is ready for a breakout year. 6 touchdowns last year, 790 yards, 47 receptions, 6 receptions of 40 plus. That led rookies, so I think Nicks is going to have a huge year.
Yeah, he has to stop those injury concerns, a little nagging injuries that hinder him. So if he can stay healthy, he's going to be
His momentum will take him.
Right. Second on your list, who you got?
Well, Pierre Garçon, small in size but big in stature. This guy is. He's got huge arms. He's built like an ox. And Peyton Manning really trusted him last year. I know he had a critical job in the playoffs, but forget that. Late fifth round to early sixth round pick again. I think Garçon is the clear number 2. Austin Collie and Gonzalez will fight for that other spot. Clark, a lot of attention goes to Clark. And Wayne, of course, they're going to try to run the ball more. This guy had 765 yards last year, 4 touchdowns, but the playoff performance was unbelievable. They showed what is the future for Garçon. 21 receptions, 250 plus yards in the playoffs. Pierre Garçon, don't forget his name.
And the thing about the Colts, they churn out receivers, a new receiver every year. So I wouldn't be surprised this year to see that coffee mug lead the Colts in receptions. And I've seen that coffee mug catch passes. Third on your list, who you got?
Well, I could go with Jeremy Maclin here. He's got a lot of upside. He's playing against across Jackson and, of course, Selleck. So I think Maclin, if he really gets to the physical aspect of football, he could really put pretty good numbers up. Johnny Knox, you get this guy 10th round, and I think he fits the Mike Martz system. He's like that Torrey Holt, Isaac Bruce mold, so speedy. A lot of people are talking about Devin Aroma should do, but don't let the numbers lie. Knox could do it on special teams. I think he's a good fit. And if they're going to put up numbers, I think it's Knox. I'm not a high on Olsen. Aroma should do. He's not really track record, so Knox gives you a big bang for your buck.
Yeah. Maclin as well as Knox. Both guys have fast names. You have to be fast with a name like Johnny Knox. You can't be a slow person if your name is Johnny Knox. So let's go into your sleepers. Who guys you maybe find on the radar right now that you need to look out for?
Well, early Doucette. This guy's going undrafted to the 15th rounds. I love what he's all about. He's 6 foot, 212 pounds. And without Bolden, it's either Breston or Doucette. They don't really use a tight end. I know they're going to run the ball more. But if you get Doucette as one of your last wide receivers or a free agent pickup, he had 14 receptions and 145-yard games in the 2 playoff games. So I think Doucette can really have a breakout year. Third year out of LSU. You know what they say about third-year wide receivers. He has the makeup. He's in that Anquan Bolden mold.
Pride of St. Martinville, Louisiana. A lot of boudin in his body, so that's why he's up to 212 pounds. Second sleeper on your list.
Well, Josh Morgan. This guy is going from an undrafted guy, and at the end of the year, he had 28 receptions over his last 6 games. He's a third-year wide receiver, another big guy, just like Doucette, 6 foot 219. I didn't think he was that big. He looks 6 foot, about 200 pounds, but he's listed at 219, meaning he is at least 210 to 212. So big physical receiver. Crabtree and Smith he has. Alex Smith could throw him the ball. And he just came on at the end of the year last year, over 500 yards, 3 touchdowns. So look out for Josh Morgan.
One thing I like about Josh Morgan is his run after the catchability. He's a physical guy once he gets the football in his hands. Third sleeper on your list.
Devin Thomas. He could be the number 1 in Washington. Shanahan's in. They got to employ him. He 13th round pick. This guy, I know numbers not flashy, 325 yards last year, only 3 touchdowns. So I think Thomas can really fill that void as number 1 in Mike Shanahan's offense. You know what he did with Brandon Marshall and a lot of other players.
Right, you look at guys like Thomas, the work underneath, work that shallow cross route, which is huge in that West Coast type offense, especially operating off play action. Thomas is going to be open a lot this season. Fourth sleeper you have?
Well, I could go with 3 quick hitters here. Malcolm Floyd, late 8th rounds. Vincent Jackson's out. But the thing is, I think he's better off with Vincent Jackson in the lineup. He's really coming on. He's really the high point jumper Vincent Jackson is. And if they key on these guys, late 8th round to early 9th, Malcolm Floyd could fill it in. Eddie Royal, really down year after having a huge rookie year. He's coming into his 3rd year. I think Brandon Marshall out. Who are you going to rely on? I mean, I know you like the Marius Thomas, but Eddie Royal, he was really coming on. He's a really good player, and they're going to put him back to his natural position. So late 9th round, why not have Eddie Royal as your 3, 4, or 5th receiver right there? And Kevin Walter, who's going to step up as number 2 in Houston? Owen Daniels' his injury. Who knows what's going to happen with him? You could get Walter mid-12th, and I think he just has all the tools to step up, especially if Chubb stays healthy across from Andre Johnson. Daniels injured. I think it's Kevin Walter would be that really good secondary target across from Andre Johnson.
Yeah, and Kevin Walter is a really solid player. He has another guy that has to stay healthy. So let's just jump into your bust list. I hope I don't see Jerry Rice on this list. But go ahead.
No, Chris Callaway is, though. Mike Sims Walker, 27 receptions, 315 yards in his final 8 games. He was really breaking out. I had him last couple years before he got injured, and there's no one to play opposite of him. I think this is a run-oriented team. I'm not trusting Garrard. He needs someone to play opposite across. Sims Walker really struggled down the stretch.
He has dreads, though, so you can't, I don't know.
You sure about that?
I'm just saying. 2 on your list.
Mike Wallace. He did all this with Santonio Holmes having a huge year. Remember that. Now he's going to try to fill the Santonio Holmes role, and the first 4 games might not bring him momentum into the second half of the season because Roethlisberger may be out, so question marks there. They want to get back to the running style. Who knows about that? Only 39 receptions last year, 756 yards, but this was with everybody keying on Holmes and Ward. A lot of injuries to him. He's getting old. He's about 34 years old now. So Mike Wallace, don't expect what you saw at Eddie Royal in his 2nd year last year. I love Mike Wallace as a player. I'm not sure if he's going to eclipse that 800-yard to 1,000-yard mark.
He's from New Orleans, so I disagree with what you have him on that list. I just disagree completely. 3rd bust you have.
Percy Harvin, injury concerns, 60 receptions last year. I know he had over 90 targets, but still, the injury concerns really have me a little antsy about this guy. Not too sure. Bernard Berrien, he played unbelievable in the playoffs last year. I think he could fit in very well into Harvin's role, or maybe even Sidney Rice can, and they could switch it up. But Harvin, mainly because of health issues and that migraine issue, this is why I have him on a possible bust list.
Yeah, that migraines are a serious medical issue.
When you're getting hit by these huge guys.
Right, so who's another bust you have on that
Well,
list?
Anquan Boldin, everyone knows he's one of my favorite receivers, going over the middle, over 1,000 yards last year, 4 touchdowns, but now he is in Baltimore, and I think he's going to help everybody else out more than Anquan Boldin being the numbers guy here. So I think Anquan Boldin, he's probably going to be taken as a top 13, 14 wide receiver. I would move him a little down, if anything, and don't expect huge numbers without Larry Fitzgerald being the 2nd option, and Kurt Warner, one of the smartest, most anticipated quarterbacks ever.
But I think Bolden's a great receiver. A lot of people forget his rookie year and 2nd year. He carried off. He was the best wide receiver on that team. So I think he can do wonders with the Ravens. Who else you have on the list?
Well, I'm pretty much done with that. So
no other busts you have on that list?
No, I only got 4, but possibly there could be a couple more guys, but for now I'll keep it at 4.
Keep it at 4. You don't, piss too many people off. So so check out more of Tyler's fantasy football rankings at youtube.com/footballgameplan to see more of the fantasy videos, or you can visit our website at footballgameplan.com/fantasy.